Okay, mathematicians, you're going to start applying what you've learned about trigonometry into the real world. So what you're going to do today is you're going to actually read some word problems, and you're going to sketch a picture and then figure out which of our trigonometry ratios is going to help us solve the problem. Now, I always keep these over on the side just so I can remember them. There is also a poster in the room that you can also use. So we're going to start with angle of elevation. Angle of elevation is when looking up to an object, the angle of elevation is formed by an observer's line of sight and a horizontal line. So when we talk about angle of elevation, we have to look at where we are in relation to the object we're looking at. So notice that we have one of us standing here, and notice that the line of sight is from our eyes to the top of whatever object we're looking at. But then we also have a horizontal line going from our eye to the similar spot of where, you know, how tall he is compared to this lighthouse. And that is our horizontal line. So when we start to draw our pictures, it's important that we sketch it out so that we understand what we're looking at, because often we want to know the height of this entire piece. And we're only going to be able to find this piece. We also have to know how tall the boy is here, and so we can come up with a total height. So let's go ahead and start with our first one. You are going to draw and label a diagram. Then you're going to solve for the missing part, and you're going to round to the nearest tenth. So first of all, we have Casey sights the top of an 84-foot tall lighthouse at an angle of elevation of 58 degrees. If Casey is 6 feet tall, how far away is he standing from the base of the lighthouse? Okay, so we've got Casey here. So I'm going to draw Casey, and I'm just going to do stick figures because that's what I'm good at. So we've got Casey. Now we do know that we have a lighthouse over here. So I'm going to do a lighthouse. And my lighthouse looks a little bit different than theirs, but that's okay. Whatever you sketch, you sketch. Now we know that Casey is actually viewing the top of an 84-foot tall lighthouse. Okay, so I know that he's looking at the top of the lighthouse. So I've got that piece done, right? And now my lighthouse is 84 feet tall. So this is 84 feet, the entire length, or height I should say, of the lighthouse. Okay, at an angle of elevation of 58 degrees. Now remember, that means there is a horizontal line here, and they've just told us it is 58 degrees. Now if Casey is 6 feet tall, how far is he standing from the base of the lighthouse? Okay, so I now know he is 6 feet tall, so I'm going to put 6 feet, and I know that that is this height right here. Okay, so with that, there are some things that I need to notice here. I do notice that I have this. I have my 58 degrees. If I take a look over here, this is the opposite, right? So I know that I have my opposite, and I am looking for my adjacent. My adjacent is the one that is touching the angle. So I know that this is adjacent. So I know I can find my hypotenuse, or no, sorry, wrong one. I know I can find my opposite, and I am looking for my adjacent, so that gives me my O and my A. So I come over here, and I have O and A. So I need to use tangent for this. So I am going to use tangent. My degrees is 58. Is equal to my opposite. Oh, I need to figure out opposite. Okay, so I know the entire height of my lighthouse is 84, but I know that this guy is 6. So I need to take 84, which is the height, and subtract 6 feet from that, which is going to give me 78. So my opposite is 78 feet. Then I know, or I don't know, my adjacent, and that's what I'm looking at. So that's what I'm going to name X. So I need opposite, which is 78, over my adjacent, which is X. Okay, now to start solving. Now remember, my goal is to get X by itself, and right now it is underneath, so that means it's in the denominator, so it means I need to multiply it to move it to the other side, right? So now I have X tangent times tangent 58 is equal to 78. And as we learned in the other assignments, you're going to divide by tangent 58. Divide by tangent 58. And I am going to get x equals, and let me go ahead and figure that out on my calculator. Well, you remember I use my phone. If you use your phone, you do need to tip it on its side. I have 78, and I'm going to divide it by tangent. Oh, you know what? On my phone, I have to flip it. Okay, let's try that again. So I have 78 divided by tangent of 58 equals 48.7 feet. That is how far he is standing from the lighthouse. 48 feet from the lighthouse. 48.7. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and sketch the pictures here and apply what you have learned throughout your other lessons. I am going to flip the page and show you how to do angle of depression as well. Actually, you know what? I'll make that a second video. Go ahead and practice these and then check with me on answers and then come back and watch your angle of depression.